Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Behind the Replay, episode 7, I think it is. So we are recording on the 23rd of September 2025. We are talking NRL today. We had you'd have to say somewhat mid-week of rugby league. I think we all thought that it was going to be much better than that, but it wasn't. We had a couple of results. We had Raiders versus Sharks that went down. Raiders out in straight sets. Pretty sad for a young team. Sharks potentially a pretty boring team of the century, going through in quite the unremarkable fashion. But we will talk about that, and then we will talk about Penrith's domination against the poor Doggies, who will be licking their wounds after an absolute smashing of 46-26. My goodness. So yeah, two games that weren't really close. But I did want to talk about quickly my experience with these two games, and we are going to be talking about the games coming up next week and the importance legacy-wise of these games that just happened. So stick around as we are listening to Behind the Replay. And why do I call it that? Well, because I'm a replay operator and I was there and I know what I'm talking about. So I worked the Raiders versus Sharks game down in Canberra. I drove for 3 hours through dead roo forest. There were dead kangaroos everywhere. I didn't even realize this was a thing. Just a quick side note, as a Kiwi living in Australia, I've just only learned this, that there's a thing called roo bars, which I never understood what they were, but they're just these metallic bars in front of the car, and you have to have them driving specifically this road or any domestic area in Australia. You have to have these bumper, how do you even describe them? Like metal sticks on the front of your car, just in case, exclusively for kangaroos. It's not like cows, it's for kangaroos. Anyway, that drove me mental. I was like, I didn't realize that was a thing, and everyone was like, yeah, roo-bars, you should know. You shouldn't be driving at night along that road because otherwise you're going to hit a roo. But in some ways as well, the roo that got hit was the Canberra Raiders. Out in straight sets, a young team against a Sharks. I was there. I went down to Canberra. The atmosphere was electric. I was getting pumped. I thought it was going to be a really good game. I thought Canberra were going to come back. The crowd was absolutely on fire. We were working the trucks, and the truck, which is around the back, you might be able to see it if you ever go to a sports game. Have a look for the trucks with big NEP or gravity on it, and it will be where I'm at. What I was in control of during this match was I was in control of the sideline cameras, as well as a camera called Cinecam, which is just a pretty camera that plays back stuff in slow motion. It's the guy right in front of them when they score the try. He's running up and between side and side on the goal line there. And I also had a feed back to the Cronulla Leagues Club, and so I was replaying that. So a lot of those things was replaying. I was actually there. I was part of the broadcast. Went really well, the broadcast. It was quite pretty, but the game was pretty average. So what did the Raiders actually learn during this? Well, I think they learned a pretty powerful lesson of the season is a long one, and just because you win the minor premiership doesn't mean that you win everything. I thought it was quite interesting. I was listening to a podcast with Ricky Stewart and Buzz Rothfield. I forgot the third person. I think it might have been Andrew Webster. I can't quite remember. But I do remember Ricky Stewart saying that this year was more of a learning opportunity. And I did store it away kind of in my mind because he said he was looking forward towards next year, and he said that this year is more of a learning opportunity whatever happens. And I thought that's quite a weird thing to say. You don't really say that if you're going for the premiership. So I think that Ricky Stewart definitely has a look at the future. The press conference was quite cryptic. There was nothing to get out of it. It was 3 minutes or so. I've listened to it for you, but he sounded pretty disappointed. The 50-point curse still lives on within the NRL. No team has ever won the premiership after losing a game by 50 points during the season. In the last game of the season against the Dolphins, the Raiders went out, but the Raiders also went out quite tough because Ethan Strange, and if you've been listening to this since episode 1, you know we are a big Ethan Strange fan. He was out with hepatitis C, unfortunately, which apparently means you cough blood. Like, he must have been really screwed up in order to not play, like, the biggest game of his young career. Other notes from that game for the Raiders, we'll get on to the Sharks. KO Weeks was very quiet. I'd like to see him develop his game in a way like the Reece Walshes, like the James Tedesco's, of being able to carry a team, because that was really his way to start, his time to shine, and he couldn't really do it. I thought they also missed, and he should be able to do it because he has the skills of a 6 and 7 because they were playing him there last year. I think also we really learnt the ceiling of Jamal Fogarty, so congratulations, Manly Sea Eagle fans, to have a half that still has a bunch of questions of whether he can take a team to the promised land. I think he has limitations in his game, and we definitely saw it throughout the postseason. And any team that doesn't have a 7 that's really truly there and can control a team, I think throughout NRL history, we always think, oh man, these guys have got, look at the forward pack. Look at these shiny new toys that they have out on the wing. It doesn't matter, man. Any team who's ever won the NRL Premiership, you look at that 7 and you look at who's there and the importance of that position. Every single one, if you're a league fan, you would have known, you know? I can't even remember the last time a 7 who was an average player actually won the entire thing. Maybe Chad Townsend. Anyway, moving on. I do think that it was quite a big out with Ethan Strange. I think that Hudson Young took it upon himself to do what Hudson Young does, which is a lot of offloading, a lot of fancy stuff, which is really good when you're going forward and when you're winning. But yeah, that right side defense, it's been a problem all year, and it was really their Achilles heel during this entire postseason. But they just went down that end over and over and over again. I do think the Raiders missed Xavier Savage. I don't think I've really heard many people talk about that. I thought Tamale, who's only 20 years old, was terrible in this postseason. I don't want to be too hard on the young fella, but he wasn't that good. And I think Xavier Savage coming back next year will be good. I also thought it was very strange from Ricky Stewart to put Sasangi in instead of Ethan Sanders. I think Ethan Sanders, if you don't know who this kid is, he has played a couple of minutes for them this year and I believe last year as well. I think he's a gun. I think he's really good. I haven't really seen Sasangi at 6, so I thought it was quite strange that when, pardon the pun, Strange went out, that they put Sasangi in, because he was also very quiet. I think he had one breakdown the left-hand side there, but really didn't do too much else. Yeah, the Raiders are in a little bit of a odd situation. I mean, they have lost. They did win the minor premiership, and the last team to win the minor premiership and win out in straight sets was the 2009 Dragons. The good thing for the Raiders is that the year after they got knocked out in straight sets, the Dragons, that was the year that Jared Haynes stepped through all of them in one of the most insane tries ever. Look up Jared Haynes try against Dragons 2009 if you don't know what I'm talking about. The Dragons won it the year after. So, I mean, is that an omen? Is that a thing to look forward to? I'm not sure. I think if you're a Raiders fan, you should be extremely proud of your team. I do think that they are too young, and I do think that game last week, like, I did a whole entire podcast on it. It really just took it out of them. I think it was really tough to back up after the heartbreak, after the mentally losing your arguably best player in Ethan Strange. I think it's really, really tough to go from there. Okay, that's 9 minutes or so on the Raiders. I just want to give them a shout out because it's been a special season, and ever since round 1 when they bet the Warriors in Las Vegas, I thought it was quite interesting. So I did a little exercise for you guys. Is I actually I went through and I got my top 17, or like the ladder, my preseason prediction, because I wrote it down. And I was wondering, I don't want to expose myself too much, but I do want to tell you guys what I thought was going to happen. And this is me at the very start of the season. So without even seeing a result. I had Storm as the minor premiers, Sharks 2, Penrith 3, Bulldogs 4, Broncos 5. So I just want to say that I did kind of predict who the best 5-ish teams were this year, which I'm kind of happy. After that, it absolutely goes south. It goes awful. 6, I had Manly. 7, Cowboys. 8th, South. 9, Raiders. So I didn't have them as minor premierships, but a lot of people had them as wooden spooners or around the bottom of the table, which I didn't have. 10, Dragons, which is just a terrible prediction. That's because Lockie, my boss, tried to convince me once Clint Gutherson went there that it would be a good idea, because he's an Eels fan and loves Gutho, but they shouldn't have been 10. 11, Tigers. 12, Roosters. 13, Knights. 14, Titans. 15, Warriors. 16, Eels. And I thought the Dolphins were going to be the wooden spooners. The Warriors I had really low just because I didn't know what we were doing in the halves. I didn't realize Metcalf was going to be that good, and I didn't realize our coach was this good. The fact that we made top 4 this year is a absolute insane thing, as well as the fact that I think I had a lot of stock riding on Adam Fanua-Blake, which we are getting into now because the Sharkies are one of the 4 teams remaining. The Cronulla Cronulla. Well done to them. No one apart from Sharks fans, I feel like, is happy for this because, my God, they are a boring team, in my humble opinion. I think they play rugby league in a very boring way. I am just not really that impressed with that win against Canberra, even though they won in Canberra, even though I was there, even though everything. Call me a hater, sure. I think I am a little bit, if I'm being honest. What I do want to say is Nico Hines finally came to play. Good. This is what the NRL fans have been wanting from this dude for so long. Well done to him. He had a really good game, and not only on attack, but on defense. I do think he had an okay game. He scored a try. He set up a try. He really shut down Hudson Young, which I thought was his defensive assignment. But please, let's not get it twisted. This team runs through potentially the most underrated player in the NRL in Braden Trindle. He is an absolute gun. He is the puppeteer of this team, and I actually do like him. The rest of the Sharks, not overly indulgent on, personally. Blake Brayley had a really good game. This guy should be the 9 for Origin next year. Let's all get it straight. This guy's playing very, very well. The Sharks have now won 9 of their last 10. So if you want to say that they're there, that they're contenders, go for it. I don't mind that take. I personally don't think they will. I think they'll get absolutely slaughtered in Melbourne this week. If they don't, I will be the first person to say I'm a hater. I don't particularly love their brand of rugby league, but good on them, man. They're there. You know, they've survived. They're in the top 4 of the last 4 teams. They've got to play at Amy Park on Friday, and you know I'm giving them a shot. I do think they will get murdered, but I won't also be completely surprised if they make a game of it. Their wingers are really becoming a weird leader of swagger in this team, and also just the start of the sets have been really good, but Mulatalo specifically, he had a really good game. He seems like he carries a lot of the swagger with a lot of his interviews in the media recently just being about, if you don't like us being in the playoffs, then kick us out. I quite like that. I'm never really a massive fan of him because I think he does a lot of talking, but he is a Kiwi, so that's my true opinion. I'm just getting my true opinion out because otherwise I'll go crazy. Katoa's been really good. Will Kennedy's been, good as well, but all these players, man, I don't know what it is about them. They just don't yell out from the page for me. I thought Toby Rudolph had a really good game. I thought there was a lot of things that was not there doing. I thought that a lot of Raiders defense on the weekend was as thin as wet paper. It's hard to really take a lot out of that game apart from they won against a bashed up side without their best player. That is the pessimist. If you want to be the optimist, you'd say Nico Hines and Braden Trindle's combination is really starting to come together. Maybe we have a shot with our spine being really, really good. Our forwards with Adam Fanua-Blake playing terrifically recently, and Toby Rudolph, Nikora, Hazelton, a whole bunch of dudes like this. We've got a shot. We've got a good team. And you do. You have the same team that you've had the last 4 years. I would like to see you win in Melbourne, and then I will be convinced. Whether you can win 2 in a row, 2 games in a row, including the grand final, I know a lot of the people in the media have given the Sharks a chance at that. I do think it is all smoke and mirrors. I will be happy to admit I'm wrong. I am happy to admit that I'm hating right now. It's just, there's something about the Sharks team that I've seen for the past 4 years. Nothing much has changed. Their run, you'd have to say, hasn't been the most difficult, but well done to them for getting that far. I don't want to be the bringer or downer of, but I also don't want to be glazing them, because I want to be realistic about what is actually happening. And I think that's what's happening. I think they've gotten a favourable draw. I thought the Roosters were absolutely terrible. I don't really see them going much further. I thought that game that I worked on was quite average. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But they do go through against Melbourne. And Melbourne, if we pretend like they're not vulnerable, you'd be lying to yourself. Whether Jerome Hughes comes back is a big question mark. He came back last year when he was injured, and he was not viewable, which isn't his problem. But I think after that game against the Bulldogs that I also did for EBS, I do not see why you wouldn't just rest him one more week and put Jonah Pezzett in, because I think Jonah Pezzett's been playing really well. Ryan Pappenhausen is going to be coming back for this game. Another massive inclusion, and it's Melbourne in Melbourne, guys. I mean, they've faced twice this year. 30-6 was the last time it was in. It was in round 17, the Storm one. It was in Melbourne. 31-26 round 11, which was actually a pretty good game. I'd forgotten. That was the one where Xavier Coates scored an insane try, just jumping over the whole entire team. It felt like. That was the last game. So it's been a while since both these teams have kind of come together at full power. But I mean, man, if the Sharks do it, I'll be thoroughly impressed, and I will be watching a replay of it and counting through how they did it, because then that would just start to be, okay, well, now we're on a crazy run and anything can happen in a grand final. Okay, so that was the game one. Sorry to the Raiders. Good on the Sharks, even though, what I just said. Next, we have Penrith versus Bulldogs. Far out. That's scary, isn't it? Just seeing Penrith come out like that. They're insane, man. They are truly just getting to that level of... I mean, they've been at that level for the past 4 years, but they have an opportunity here, and I'm not sure if many people who don't watch the league understand this, of being like the greatest team ever of like sports dynasty, in that conversation at least. Like, obviously there's lots. I mean, the Crusaders as well in Super Rugby. I know there's different metrics of how popular the sport is, but if you want to just go off factually, the fact that there's 17 teams in this league and Penrith have come out on top every single year losing players, like, you just have to tip their cap, because my God, they are an absolute wrecking ball when they're like that. That first half, 100% completion rate, it was just, I mean, even when they scored that last try at the very end, you just think towards the end of the first half, you're just like, man, what do you even say? I was saying that to the dude I was sitting next to at the pub. I was like, if you're Serraldo here and you go in down to the shed, what was it, 30-6? What do you say? Well, yeah, boys, I think we can do it. We got to believe, though. Like, man, nah. But this is the team that's won the past 4 chips, and we are getting humiliated And it was a bit of a humiliation in the end, 46-26. I mean, the Bulldogs started to look like they were coming back. There was a play there that really summed it up, though, wasn't there? That when they got within, not even distance, but within distance of a faint comeback, and then Lockie Galvin absolutely fires an unnecessary and over-extravagant ball out to the right. It goes out, and there's just that fan. Great shot of just going, "What are you doing? What are you doing up the Doggies?" Yeah, so I think that is, I mean, we've talked about this with the Dogs every single week, I think, on this podcast, of it's the same problem. Lockie Galvin wasn't ready to take over, and that was that. And then they got absolutely outclassed and pantsed by Penrith. So I'm not even really going to spend too much time on the Dogs. I don't think there's... the only thing I will say about them is that I listened to the press conference, and I think Serrato is a very good coach. If you listen to him, the guy seems like he knows what the hell he's doing. I do feel really bad because I think Phil Gould really threw him under the bus this year of, here's a 19-year-old that is a new shiny toy that will be good for our future in theory. Now go make him an NRL 7 for the best team in the NRL and go win a premiership. I don't think that's ever been asked of anyone, and I think that's ridiculous to place that on the coach. Is that fair? Am I being ridiculous? I don't think I am. I think I'm being pretty fair on the fact that no other coach is asked to do anything like that, and only Gus gets away with it because he hosts on Channel 9 and because he's a legend of the game. And I love Gus. Good on him. He's a great character. My childhood. But that seems unfair. That seems like a bit bogus to put it all on the coach, because I've been seeing a lot of things and comments and in the media of Serrato's on the hot seat. Like, Serrato shouldn't be on the hot seat. The guy is a great coach. He's changed this team's fortune for the past 2 years. Without that leader as well, Stephen Crichton, I mean, obviously that's going to be a problem, but they would have gotten absolutely dorked with it or without him, in my humble opinion, because the Penrith Panthers might be back, guys, which is scary. After round 13, they were dead last in the competition. There were memes, there was clowning, there was Penrith is done, and me and my boss Lockie, we were at the pub and we said, I wouldn't be surprised if they still won it. Because this team seems to never die, and they seem to be getting better and better. And round 26, when they rested all their players, and there was a lot of things in the media, you'd have to say it was a absolute masterclass of, resting players. And it's going to be a problem in the NRL going forward if this works, because why the hell would you play all your players when they rested 13 against the Dogs as well? And that was the last time the Dogs had won in 5 weeks or so, was against the Penrith B team. I didn't really spend enough time on Nathan Cleary there. That guy is an absolute freak. He is the best ever player in the NRL. Probably, period. I don't think it's arguable anymore, especially if he wins 5, because no one since the people in the 70s or 60s with the Dragons have won 5, let alone on the bounce. It's ridiculous. It's immense. It's just crazy. The way he talks in post-game interviews as well. He's like Superman. The guy has no fear of anyone. He is clearly very clearly the leader of this team in such a way that every single other player on the team will follow him into battle, as well as Isaiah Yeo. Listening to them in the press conference, it's just like this team knows how to win, and they're not they're not screwing around. They're not here to lose. I'm just in awe. I mean, when I say he's the greatest ever in the NRL, I think he has an opportunity to be the best rugby league player of all time. And I don't think it's going to be particularly hard for him, because I think he only needs to do one more thing, which is win consistently at Origin. Let's not pretend like the guy hasn't already won 3 State of Origins shields in his career already. And he's, 27? Oh, is that maybe 28? Let's just quickly look it up. Nathan Cleary age. He is 27 years old. My God. My goodness. That's just, it's outrageous. It's actually outrageous, the amount of dominance that he shows, the amount, like the poise on the weekend. It was things that, the kicks, the 40-20s, the passing games, the fact that he never seems to be in a rush. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time, making the right decision. I mean, when he's the puppeteer of this team, when he's the conductor, there's nothing you can really do. And yeah, it's going to be, it was just, and I mean, also, he wasn't the only one, but he gets the most of the credit because he's the quarterback of that team, man. And he's a hell of a player, and I think he's got 4 more Origin wins until 4 more Origin wins, maybe like an award like Golden Boot or I mean, he's won enough. Dally M's. I think just another couple of those on the resume, and I don't see how you even argue of the fact that he's had the Jonathan Thurston moment, the 23 grand final. He's won 4, and if he wins a 5th, and they're still on top of the world, and he is the guy doing it. I mean, no one else has done that. Andrew Johnston didn't do that. Jonathan Thurston didn't do that. Darren Lockyer didn't do that. I mean, Cameron Smith did it to some degree, but not like this. Not 5 in a row. Come on. What are we doing? Panthers as well. Shout out to Paul Alamotti against his old team. I think people forget that he was playing on the Bulldogs. Only 2. Not last year, the year before last. Absolute dynamite beast, those 2 wingers that they have. Just an insane combination of just terror. Brian To'o as well. Like, man, when this guy is in the mood. I was talking to my friend Conan about this. He's a Queenslander, and I was like, what do you think of To'o? He said he's the one New South Welshman that he actually likes. Because this guy always is making meters, and he's the one who's trying hardest on the field every single game. Man, shout out Brian To'o. The guy's a legend. He's got an argument to be the best winger of all time already. He is an absolute beast of a man, and he just tore them to shreds. Tore Carraz to shreds. I mean, they didn't really know what to do on defense or attack. Man, the Dogs look really bad, so, I mean, the Panthers just, I mean, they had a whole bunch of just absolutely insane chemistry of that when they come together as a symphony. So those hands that they have, those tries that they score, just getting it out wide in new creative ways that just leave the defense clutching at air. It's beautiful. It really is poetic of just how fantastic this team can be. And the fact that they're only peaking now and that they're getting better and better every week. I mean, that was their best performance of the year by far, you'd have to say. And it was just magnificent. I mean, I'm not even a Penrith fan, and I am all on for other people to win this year. But I mean, if you like rugby league, man, how do you not like what they do? Because they play it at such a good. They play such a lovely brand of it. They just tear you to shreds. They're clinical. The only thing coming out of this game, I reckon, that would be a little bit of a red flag would be Liam Martin. He was clutching at his ribs. He said in the post-game interview that he was fine, but he did look a little bit shot when he was clutching onto his ribs and that shot down the tunnel there. The other thing about Penrith, man, they have a bunch of players that have been champions for years, and yet the media never talks about them. And I thought on the weekend they were shone as beautifully and as brightly as they deserve. These are the Liam Henrys of the world. These are the Mitch Kennys of the world. Lindsay Smith, man, they are fantastic. All those players who have just been there the whole time, playing his 200th game. Moses Leota, just such an underrated player, man. I mean, I know he's properly rated now because he's won 4, but the guy is just, they are all just so well drilled and champions. And yes, you have all those players there. You have the Nathan Clearys, you have the To'os, you have the Yos, but there's other guys behind the scenes who are just like the duck's feet, paddling furiously to make it look so elegant. And they are scary. I mean, I don't see anyone beating them if they play like that. And I don't know how you could when they are that good. The only team I think that could beat them is this weekend, is the Broncos. Day game at Suncorp Stadium. 2023 Grand Final rematch in such a big spot. Wow, I am excited for this game. This game is going to be an all-time game, in my opinion. I really think this will be an instant classic. I think the Grand Final is won and lost here. I think these are the two best teams remaining. I think these are the two teams that could do it. You never want to talk down the Storm like that, but I really, truly think that the Grand Final will be won at Suncorp on Saturday during the day. They've only faced once this year, 32-8. This was round 8 or something. Can you even remember what happened in round 8? I think this was Penrith's second win of the year. There's a bunch of things going on with Brisbane as well that I think is just a big ask. With Carrigan out, he's taken the plea for that high shot on Morgan Smithies from the greatest game ever played last week. I've got a podcast on that. You should check it out after this one. And then also Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam, both coming back and both expected to play, which is massive. You obviously put Adam Reynolds in at 7, especially with Billy Walters doing his ACL last week, which is such a shame because he's been playing fantastic as well. I would have loved to see him at 9, even though Corey Pakes has been doing a pretty good job there. Adam Reynolds will be coming into 7, and then Ben Hunt will be going to 6. I assume that Ezra Mam will be playing 14 and coming off the bench and being a wrecking ball and just being around the park because his pace injected into a team with tiring forwards could be good. Tiring forwards, I mean, Penrith's forwards don't look tired at all. Isaiah Papali'i, another dude who has just been really, really good and consistent. Liam Henry, Moses Leota, Liam Martin, you've got to tire those guys out. But if you do, I think Ezra Mam coming on would be one of the best players to do it. But this is all going to be up to the what is going to be on the poster. It's going to be the Reece Walsh show against the Nathan Cleary show. It's going to be, that's what the Matt Nable teaser is going to be about. You can already hear it. It's going to be all of that. I don't know who's going to win this game. I just think it's the same, bet on Tom Brady in the Super Bowl to make the Super Bowl, bet on Patrick Mahomes to win the Super Bowl, bet on just the sport bets that seem to never fail until they do, and that's when you should change. But Nathan Cleary, I mean, he hasn't lost yet. So I out of just pure faith for the Panthers being the Panthers, I'm going to go with the Panthers, but I won't be surprised either way. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a game. It's going to be very, 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 very good. So whoever wins out of those 4 will be the final matchup for the grand final, which is the Sunday afterwards. Look, man, the fact that the NRL season's wrapping up in such a great way, it's going to be really good. After the season, I think we're going to go through each team and talk about what they can do better for next year, because I really would like to give some of the teams that are near the bottom of the table future predictions and future can they actually do and deep dive into their teams. For now, though, we have 4 remaining, and all 4 have their strengths. All 4 have, some of the 4 have weaknesses. It's one of the only NRL seasons I can really remember in quite a while that I have no idea who's going to win this, guys. I have no clue what's going to go down, who's going to be where. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be good. Next week's episode is going to be delayed. I'm going to a festival this weekend. I know some of you would say that you're not a true fan, but I am because I would also like a break from footy in some respects of I need to get out of Sydney. So I'm going to a festival, but fret not, when I am hungover next week, I am going to be watching all 4 massive games, maybe even a 5th with the AFL Grand Final. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know enough about it, but there's obviously these 2 games that I've talked about. The Rugby Championship between Australia and New Zealand, Bledisloe, Eden Park is going to be massive. Argentina versus South Africa is also going to be big. Next week, I think I'm going to talk about the plans for the Rugby Championship coming up in future years, but I do want to keep this one quite league-centric. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. If you enjoyed, please do whatever. I don't care. I was about to say like, follow, and subscribe, but I actually am just happy because I've been thinking about this for the past couple of days, and I'm just glad that it's not on my head anymore. So thank you very much for listening. One take. We're getting a lot better at this. I hope you have a good day. I hope everything goes well. I hope I was recording. I was recording. Okay, fantastic. Cool. Well, I'm going to put this up, and I will see you guys late next week, where we are going to talk about the NRL Grand Final preview, and then we will talk about the Rugby Championship. I hope you have a lovely day. Much love, fellas and fellarettes. Catch you guys later. Mwah.